Hi everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Maddie. It's a pleasure to be here to talk to you today. You can see all of my information on the board behind me, but I'm an assistant curator at the Teece Museum, so I work with Terry, who you've met already a couple of times, but I also serve as a school archivist for Villa Maria College. I'm not sure if any Villa girls are here today, but if so, I work at your school, and together those two roles add up to full-time work for me. You can see my timeline there, and most important to note is that I do not yet have a full-time job in the heritage sector, and I haven't done my master's yet. So if I'm referring back to what Bayana was talking about earlier, in terms of building up this sort of career and heritage jigsaw puzzle, I'm still very much at the start of that. So I think what I hope you guys can get out of my corridor today is some exposure to what your path might look like, assurance that if it is non-linear, like mine has been like, then that is completely okay. And I think as we're all learning so far, it's actually pretty typical for the heritage sector. And then also just to see what my sort of work is like and what sort of learning you can get outside of a formalized sort of study space, because there is a whole lot of it. I think ultimately for me, a career in heritage is about meaningful work, and it's about work that is connected to people, places and culture, specifically of the past, but also going into the future as well. And I think if I'm working in a career in heritage, then I have to be able to share some sort of my personhood about why I'm in this career. So for me, I've always been connected to history. I've always loved reading, storytelling, loved a whodunit when I was really young, and I loved the olden days, quote unquote, when I was younger. So I liked to collect lots of little trinkets and I loved vintage things. But a little bit more personally, my father passed away when I was just 2 years old. So for me, I've always inherently felt super connected to the past because that's where my dad was, and that lent itself really beautifully to having a general curiosity about people. So that's how I kind of got my foray into the heritage world. I did humanities all throughout high school. I thought it was really important for me to take a gap year, even though I knew what I wanted to do at university, because I wanted to see what my interests would look like, I guess, outside of that formalized structure. So I toddled off to Europe, like lots of Kiwis do, and you've got that photo you're right there, because I was volunteering in Greece for 2 months, and I had my little apartment to myself because I was the first volunteer they'd ever had. And out there beyond the bay, you can see the island of Ithaca, which is super relevant for those of you who might have seen the Odyssey movie recently, but that's my little drop in there. I went back to uni through those dates that you can see up there, volunteering and working all throughout. I was a little bit burnt out by the end of it, I must admit, so I just wanted to work. And luckily through stuff that I had done during my undergrad, I got some pretty cool opportunities, which led me to where I am today. So I'll speak first to my current roles before talking about what I was doing throughout my undergrad to kind of give you guys an insight into things that you might want to start doing. So I'll just talk about my assistant curator job because that's the main one. However, my work as an archivist is also incredibly important. Please note that there's a lot of crossover between the two roles, so lots of skills that you can mesh between your disciplines. So, assistant curator. I have been in this role since January. I'm currently covering the maternity leave cover for the lovely Emily, who's standing to the side if you all look over to her right now. Yeah, it's a super dynamic job. I absolutely love it. I couldn't name one thing that I don't love. Every single day is completely different, okay? Especially working in a small museum, you really get to dip your toes into so many different things. And also, because it's an antiquities museum, for those of you who aren't as familiar with the Teece, I just get to get my mitts on really, really old things, which I'm absolutely fascinated by and love. But if I had to split the job into three main parts, and you can see by the pictures up here, I'll talk through a little bit. So the first is assisting Terry with the care of the collection, so collection management. So we can do things like updating the storage of artifacts so that they're more securely held. One of the big projects for me is doing provenance research this year, so that we jug right up the top there, from 650 BCE, I get to investigate artifacts like that and track their journeys, or try to at least track their journeys and how they were excavated, what sort of hands they went through, and importantly, how they ended up here in Ōtautahi, Christchurch, which is a pretty massive journey to make as well. So that's one part. The other one is a lot of writing, a lot of research, and a lot of creation, I suppose. So writing for social media, emails, which I actually quite like, administrative tasks like that, research and writing for exhibitions, writing up my provenance research, and writing lesson plans for classes that come through, all sorts. I also make, on occasion, some public programs like activities that kids do when they come through the museum, or we go to them for a class. And then the biggest part about my role is kanohoi ki te kanohoi, face-to-face connection with people, right? So lots of classes come through the museum, primary, secondary. I get to have the pleasure of teaching them, actually. Super fun, great questions, and great interactions. We do outreach to libraries and some schools as well. I work a lot with interns and volunteers that come through the museum. I was also a volunteer and intern, so I've been at the Teece for a long time, and some of them are here today, so thanks for coming along, guys. And yeah, so for me, it's all about the people in this career, so that is the main part of my job. So I'd really encourage you guys to start making connections with anyone, with peers, with friends, with colleagues as soon as possible. But that leads me, I guess, to my next slide. What you're seeing here is everything that I did during my undergraduate and also in the year after I finished my honours degree. So I did go to UC, by the way. Yeah, I think I'm notorious in my friend group for being employed by multiple different organizations at once. I think the most that I was ever employed by was 5, and that included a couple of hospo jobs. And for me, during undergrad, I really had to strike a balance between wanting to get all this experience, so all this volunteer work that we're telling you to do, trying to pay for my living as an undergrad student, and then also just still enjoying life a little bit. So I started as a Teece volunteer in 2021. And another thing that I would say is to really, back yourself. Because I remember the email that was looking for volunteers. It was from one of our professors, Alison, and she was looking for students in the undergrad who'd done at least 1 semester of ancient Greek or Latin as part of their degree, to catalogue a bunch of ancient coins, which is that photo on this right here that you can see. I was really intimidated by it, even though I thought it sounded super cool because I'd never done cataloguing before. And also I didn't think my ancient Greek was that good, and have I remembered any of it? Not a lot. Nonetheless, I put my name forward because why not? And yeah, it kind of opened up, and I've been really lucky to move through the Teece progressively. So that led to a casual gallery hosting role, which led to more experience, and you can kind of see just in the fine print underneath the opportunities there what sort of skills I've learned from volunteering. And yeah, so I've been really lucky, I should say, to be doing the work that I'm doing today. And there's so much more for me to do. I still need to do my master's. I don't have a full-time job in the sector yet, but all of it is incredibly important learning. And I should note this volunteer stuff and also the minor roles that you can get. It's experience that you don't get while studying formally, at least during my bachelor's. I'm sure my vocational master's in some sort of glam sector area will be very valuable learning for me in terms of practical skills as well. But yeah, to go to my last slide there, advice. So yeah, connections really matter. So it's great that you guys have all turned up here today and started making connections. I think obviously with people who can mentor you, give you advice, give you experiences, but also really importantly with your peers as well. I was super burnt out by the end of my degree, and I really leaned on my friends a lot. I think especially working in the heritage sector where there isn't a linear progression as such, at least in comparison to my other friends who are maybe accountants or doctors now that get a job pretty much straight out of uni. There is a lot of uncertainty in the heritage sector, and there is job scarcity as well. It's just a reality of it. So being able to have friends in heritage who are going through the same things as me, and also making their own jigsaw of jobs and volunteer experience was super valuable and comforting. But yeah, face-to-face connection is really important because, hey, we're working with people, we're working with humanity. And yeah, volunteer, be open to opportunities. Yeah, don't be afraid to say yes. And yeah, most importantly, take care of yourself and make sure to nurture your own interests so you don't lose that inspiration. But yeah, thank you all so much for listening to me talk on, but I hope you enjoy the rest of the presentations as well.